Hey, welcome
Hi.
to Call a Death Doula, Birdie. Thank you so much for joining this conversation. And just to remind anyone who hasn't seen one before, this Call a Death Doula is just really all about highlighting death doulas and what they do, and just such the variety of flavors that there are out there. And then also for death doulas to be able to be seen so people can know they're out there, and then also just talk about their stuff, which is so helpful to do. So, welcome, Birdie, and please just tell us about yourself and how you got into this work and all that good stuff.
Hi. My name's Birdie Milestone. I am a death doula here in the Willamette Valley in Oregon. Where do I even start? Looking at questions from last time. I
Yeah.
came into death work because I grew up, well, for many reasons. I grew up a medically fragile child. So some of my first memories are hearing adults in the room talk about my odds of survival and how poor they were. And then when you make it, you hear them say, "Oh, she must be really meant for something."
Mm.
I didn't share the same religion as the nurses saying those comments, but the seed was planted in me that death doesn't have to be that scary. It's just kind of a fact of life. We're here now because we're not there. Between that and being raised by a home birth midwife, um, I came to really respect the in home care factor of care. Not everything really needs to be industrialized, institutionalized. Um, Backing up to growing up in the hospital, I gained so much respect for the nurses that when I finished high school, I went to be a CNA, to be a nurse's assistant.
Mm.
Um, Landing my first jobs in long term care really gave me the view of institutionalized death care. And I remember being 17, feeling very strongly, oh my gosh, I hope this doesn't happen to me. So that's planted the seed and it's now blossomed into the death care practice I have now. Um, I work, I'd say 60-40, 60% with folks in a traditional home environment, and about 40% of the time with folks living in severe poverty.
Okay.
Um, Not sure if we're ready for that whole story, but I'll tell
You
it.
get to do whatever, whatever comes to you, I trust is what wants
You
to
can edit
come.
it later.
Yeah.
Um, I had the opportunity in February to travel to Minneapolis, where our government's causing all sorts of chaos. And my plan was to go and give in home care to families of the resistance, of the people outside fighting for their neighbors and their freedom. And when I arrived in Minneapolis, I left myself open to whoever it was that may need me. And it didn't take long until I met a gentleman who heeded my offer for support. um, he was caring for his best friend the best way that he knew how. And these two gentlemen had battled homelessness and addiction for most of their life. And at this point, I met them. They're probably in their 60s, appearing to be in maybe their 80s.
Hmm.
We built trust over a few days, and this gentleman, Randy, was the one I was meeting with, expressed to me his absolute fear and terror of leaving alone his friend who was bedbound. He says, "Well, I'm just afraid to leave because what if Malachi dies and I'm not there? What if he's sick and I can't save him? It will be all my fault." And it just broke my heart. And I was able to have the discussion with him that, Malachi will die and you won't be able to save him. And also, it won't be your fault. So, in coming to their home, which was a camper trailer that was housing everyone that needed warmth, both with 2 legs, 4 legs, and 8. Just a tiny spot to seek shelter from the snow. And these men had been in there for probably years, although the accuracy of their historical accounting is questionable, as with anyone with severe trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm led past an abandoned warehouse into a camper trailer that he was so concerned with my well-being. He says, "Honey, you're going to be so cold. It's so cold in there. The heater doesn't work." I assured him that I was dressed to protest in 20 below. I could handle it. Well, also acknowledging his concern. He says, Malachi always was the one that fixed the heat, but he's lost too many fingers to the frostbite. He can't fix the heater anymore.
Mm,
I had a little lamp, I have my little broom, and we enter their area, and I work with Randy to make a path from the doorway to the bed and the bed to the bathroom. We set up a little care station of things that might make their life easier in trying to get a sense of what was happening in that home. Um, Randy would say to me, well, he told me before he quit talking, he told me that he can't really feel anything on the back of him anymore. But once a week, I pick him up and I put him in the tub and we get the regulars out and then I put him back in the bed. And other than bringing him food he doesn't eat and drinks he doesn't drink, he's just in here. So as a doula, I was able to explain, demonstrate somewhat how to give a bed bath with dignity without running water.
mm,
Um, I explained to Randy what the active dying phase would look like. As Malachi, in the time that I first met him, was just in the long-term sleeping, very few moments of consciousness, a lot of confusion, a lot of sleeping. But yet at the beginning, he wasn't in the active dying phase. So I explained to Randy what that might look like, various possible end of life phenomena. Sometimes folks at the end of life will do kind of this reaching up to the corner or look at things that we on this side of the veil can't see. In addition to changing in skin color and breathing, all sorts of small changes happen, as I know you know. Deep breath.
yeah.
It was such a wonderful opportunity to meet these gentlemen and to be trusted within their care space. And I did mention, I said, next time you see any sort of county worker, sign up for hospice. Hospice is such a great service in terms of getting the durable medical equipment and extra support. And Randy said to me, he says, there's no way I'm letting a county worker back here.
Mm,
And if either of us go for help, we're going to be separated. Um, Given the, I don't even know how to explain, time capsule of political things in February in Minneapolis, um, Trump's ICE agents were there actively kidnapping and incarcerating immigrants,
mm,
um, people with disabilities, people of all sorts of backgrounds that were deemed undesirables. These two gentlemen fit in those categories.
mm,
So going for help would mean being separated, being evicted from the place that they found safety. So I was honored as an off the books kind of worker. In that capacity, I was a volunteer doula. Anyway, we built some rapport, and each day we'd meet at the same spot. And on my last day in Minneapolis, he wasn't there. And I thought, oh my gosh,
mm.
do I respect their autonomy? Do I show up unannounced at their trailer? I made the decision to go and knock on the door and just see. And I arrived there to Randy, very grateful to see me. And he immediately launched into, oh, how Malachi's doing the things. He's doing all the things you said he would do. I just don't quite know what to do. So I came in with my lamp and we all sat together. And just knowing the relationship between the two and how much they cared for one another, it was really awe-inspiring for me. And we sat and I rubbed Malachi's forehead. That can be really relaxing for folks,
Yeah,
especially folks that don't get a lot of human touch.
yeah,
It is both intimate and not intimate. I don't know the right word for that.
yeah.
Anyway, I'm rubbing his forehead and we're having a talk. I explain to our dying Malachi that I'm there with Randy. His friend wouldn't be left alone. You're safe to transition. You can go if you're ready. And not immediately after I say it, but within the afternoon, Malachi passes away, and there's this utter silence. And then a loud rumble, and the heater turned on. The heater in their trailer that hasn't worked in years, that Malachi always fixed before he lost his fingers.
Ooh,
Um, there's no hard and fast way to define those things,
yeah.
but being able to witness them as a doula really keeps me coming back to the work. It's as if as Malachi's last act on earth was to turn the heater on for his friend. So we knew he wouldn't be alone and cold. And
Yeah.
it was just such a moment of privilege for me to be able to witness that, to give voice for these experiences, to give
Yeah.
voice for people that feel forgotten or dismissed. Um, so having had that experience in February, I'm now partnering with my local street outreach team and
Okay.
have begun delivering end of life care and mostly end of life compassion to people choosing not to go back to the hospital.
Yeah.
We have a local gentleman that has advanced cancer, and he says, I hide in the bushes every time I see an ambulance because I don't want them to put me in there.
Hmm.
So we've found a way to partner with the local hospital, the local hospice, um, and myself as the doula, and the daytime drop-in center that offers a lot of resources to our neighbors experiencing homelessness, that we are now holding a workshop to fill out advanced directives and POLST forms for the folks that live
Amazing.
outside so they can have
Amazing.
their wishes respected.
Yeah. Wow. That
I'm
is
really
great.
hopeful to deliver that freedom of choice to people who don't have a lot of choice.
Yeah. Wow. That's great. That is super great. Yay.
Um, in addition to my doula services, I'm continuing my education. I live down here in Corvallis by Oregon State University. And while I was young, I did not have the opportunity to attend college.
Hmm.
I have learned that you can audit college classes as an adult. All you need is permission from the professor, and you can sit in and take a class. So I'm now taking thanatology, the study of death and dying, to augment my practice that I've gained from personal experience and the ancestral rites of birth and death, being raised by a midwife with 4 nurses for grandparents.
Yeah.
Some of it's just in here.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah. Well, I
the
mean, and that's what it's all really about. I mean, what we have to offer as individuals, it's not what we're certified in, or I mean, that stuff's all great and it's good to learn extra things, but I have found that the beautiful thing about so many different doulas is it comes from within us. And so our uniqueness just flows. So
Mhm.
you don't need a certificate for that. It's just who
No,
you are. Yeah.
thank you. On the flip side to the very intense end of life moments, another very, I'm not sure popular is the right word, another very, let's try again. Often as a doula, I focused less on just the very end bit, the death doula, which was the term I first liked, but to use end of life doula for my clients that I refer to as my last best friends.
Hmm.
I function a lot as someone's last best friend. In fact, tomorrow I'm taking one of my clients who's in the space between disability, widowhood, and her eventual passing, in this
Mhm.
gap of time where she's very lonely and isolated. Tomorrow we're going whale watching.
Oh my goodness, that's
Yes,
wonderful.
she's an amputee from Nebraska in her 80s, and she's never been out on the open ocean before.
Uh-huh.
And it's whale migration season. So here in Oregon, you can drive to Depot Bay and for $30 a person, spend an hour out at sea looking for whales. So I'm very excited as her doula to eke out as much life as we can in her end of life process.
Absolutely.
Um, for me personally, I'm just wired in a way that I am forever willing to get my heart broken. So I really form close relationships with these folks that I care for. She really does feel like my best friend. I am her last best friend, and I hope that I get to have many more.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's so great to just be there for someone, to
Mhm.
get a lot of life out of life while also accepting that death is pending and we can walk towards it eyes open.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and doing it joyfully certainly helps,
Yes,
right? When you're free, all the things to just be
right?
finally
You can do
free.
all the things.
Yeah.
Sometimes I struggle when someone asks me, so what is it that you do?
It's very
Well,
hard.
that category is so large
Right,
because
that's
doula
right.
is currently an unregulated industry. It's private practice. I can do anything you need me to. I can do whatever you negotiate for me to do. Having that freedom is really important to me. I don't make a very good rule follower. Um, but speaking of rules, just after this call, I have a meeting with the local funeral home, as I've now learned that it's called a FSP, a funeral service provider, is the caveat on how you can do funerals without having to go to mortuary
Mm,
school. You
mhm.
don't have to do the embalming and the cremating. You can just do the funerals.
Okay.
That interests me because I have done some both living funerals, which don't really count, but some home funerals.
They
Um,
count.
they count, yeah. I offer postmortem shroud wrapping, which then I learned when I had a colleague who was going to fill in for me while I was out of town. And I said, it's unlikely that our client will pass away while I'm gone. But if she does, the shroud is in the closet. We have a plan to tuck flowers in. And my colleague says, oh no, I don't do any of that. Once a person passes away, it has to be a funeral director or the family.
Mm,
So I can teach the family how to do it, but I can't do it. And that was just such a different perspective than I had heard before,
yeah.
especially being raised by a midwife who
Yeah.
wasn't in the nursing background before. When you get hired, you show up with the skills you have and you use them. If shroud wrapping is a skill I have, why does the funeral industry need to have a cut of that, I suppose?
Right.
So now we're exploring being a funeral service provider to make
Nice.
sure everything's on the up and up. We'll see what comes of that.
You're gathering all these different
All
things
the parts.
in. And that again, that's the beautiful thing is that it's just every different death doula is just such a beautiful um conglomeration isn't the right word, but you know, it's
Yeah.
just so beautiful because it touches so many things in life, in just in the life experience.
Thank you. Yeah, the tapestry of
Thank you.
involvement,
That's a better word. Tapestry.
the tapestry of involvement in my community. It's really, I'm looking at a tapestry now. There's one from Peru here.
Ooh, nice.
That was one of the first places I traveled where I really saw death care done differently. Um, and I'm hoping to bring that back here in the US where it's less industrialized. Death care, like birth care, was historically always done by women. I come from Irish ancestry, and they had the keening women. I don't know if you know about those yet, Pamela. They're the women that did death care and also the mourning and the grieving. A keening
Mhm.
woman would do the singing um, in a fairly customizable grief song about the person who had passed. And as the Roman Catholics were colonizing Ireland, they took the word that the Keenan women used that sounds something like banshee, and they outlawed the Keenan women and
Oh,
them screaming like a banshee, and that was not the way to grieve, and it was not prim and proper. So that in-home care and freedom of expression was colonized right out,
yeah.
and I'm hopeful we can bring back some of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so healing and it's so beautiful. And it makes so much sense once people either hear about it or involved. It's like, of course
Right,
it makes sense
right.
that we would do that.
We sing happy birthday, so why don't we sing you out as well?
Hmm. Wow. That is so cool. Huh?
Thank you.
Nice.
So many interesting things.
So many. What else? Anything else you want to share about what you do or how it's changed you as a person or just, you know,
Um, I have one for that. Um,
cool.
I thought I had one for that. And then I looked outside and the
Yeah.
mailman walked by and with it my package of thoughts.
You know, my husband's a mailman, so that happens to me too when
Yeah.
my mailman walks by.
Uh-huh. Um, a quote that I wish I could tell you who said it first, that I learned actually in my thanatology class regarding death and dying, is we hear often live each day to its fullest or live each day like it is your last.
Right.
But there's a second half to that. Live each day as if it could be your last, but also the first in 1,000 more.
Mm-hmm.
And having that second bit has really changed how I live because it's really easy to go all out, balls to the wall, YOLO, we're going to do it, and the rest doesn't matter. But then to think about when life lingers, like for my client now, whose husband has passed away, who doesn't have children, she really thought, I'll have a good time. And when my husband goes, I'll probably go soon after. But we're finding now, while she is an amputee, she's otherwise healthy. And
Mm,
she hadn't really planned for this, what is now looking like years from the time between widowhood and when she passes away.
yeah.
So for myself, as much as I take volunteer opportunities in sometimes dangerous places, I've just been, I'm not sure I'm ready to share this, but I just got the return email that I have advanced the second round of volunteer orientation to go volunteer in Palestine.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Wow.
So those are dangerous things. I spent 2025 in Washington, D.C., standing in front of Trump's tanks. I spent February of this year outside the concentration camps in Minneapolis. And if later this year it's Palestine, that's what it needs to be. But in the meantime, I need to live like it's my last day and also like I might survive
Yeah, absolutely.
Palestine and then come home. We all hope we
Yeah.
can. But before you leave on tasks like this, you have to make the decision of what your risk assessment is. Are you willing to put it all down for this?
Hmm.
And for me, often that answer is yes. I've been put on this planet to relieve suffering, and I will do that in any way I'm called.
Mm. Wow. That is beautiful. And I think you're doing a pretty good job
Thank
from
you.
the things I know about you and the things you do.
Oh, can I show you my shirt?
What does it
My
say?
street outreach, they've dubbed me the Gray Witch, and
Oh,
someone
that's
gave me
right.
this shirt. It says, "Somebody dying, send for me.
Oh, that is so
Somebody dying, send
great.
for me."
Yeah. See, I mean, people are so grateful to have a witch in their midst. I mean,
I don't
it's
typically
scary at
self-identify
first, but
as a witch, but I'll take what I can get.
right. I mean, I'm just saying, like someone who's willing to hold the scary spaces, someone who's willing to say, come on, let's talk about death. I can hold the magnitude of how scary this seems to everyone. And then we soften it and they'll be like, oh, okay, wait, it's not that bad. And
Yeah,
so people are so, I know, very grateful to have someone who's there to be like, let's talk about death. I got you. Even if you're scared, I got you. And that's just needed all over the place. Mm.
in outreach last week, there was a mishearing when I explained I'm a death doula to a group. I typically introduce myself to kind of the leader of each encampment, if you will. And a few other folks were listening, and they misheard death doula as death dealer,
Ah,
as if when they've had enough, they can just call me and I'll
oh
deal out
boy.
relief in that manner. Like, oh, we've had a misunderstanding.
That is,
I am here to relieve suffering, in which I will explain your options. I will sit with you with compassion. I will tell the ambulance to keep driving if that's what you need me to do.
yeah,
But I'm not personally out here dealing death. I
yes.
am doulaying death.
That is very funny. But you'll give them comfort as they are dealing with their death, which is great. All right. Well, thank you so much for
Sure.
this. Oh my gosh, I loved
And speak. Oh, I don't
huh?
even taco over here.
Oh,
We'll
taco.
skip him for
We
sure.
gotta see taco.
Okay, one moment.
Go get taco.
Another important part to my death work. This is Taco. He has snuggled many a person as they transitioned out of this planet.
Mhm.
And he's just keen to do it. He'll
Yeah.
accept the pets or the snuggles of anyone. Um, in the long-term care facilities we frequent, he climbs lap to lap, wheelchair to wheelchair. Everybody gets that warmth. Um, for families in spaces where people are dying, oftentimes he's a great distraction. If someone's overcome with emotions and needs a moment, here, go throw the ball for the dog.
Yeah.
Go be over here, remembering that life still continues on,
Yeah.
even in grief.
Wow, that is just extra bonus in there. Yeah, so just so many ways that we have to offer, and your unique way is super beautiful. So
Thank you.
glad to witness it. Well, thank you.
My
Peace to
pleasure.
you on whatever you're figuring out in the Palestine thing, and oh, so
Oh,
fun.
so many things.
So many things.
So
Well,
many things. One of the perks of the way my brain operates is I only exist right now.
yeah,
If you ask me what I had for breakfast or the order of the tasks I did last week, I won't have any idea.
yeah,
I can't focus too much on what's happening 2 months from now, next week. Right now, I'm doing this. Next, I'm doing that. So we'll see what
yeah.
happens.
That's great.
Not
That's a
stressed.
good way to go. I agree. All right.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
Pamela.
Uh-huh.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.